NTV Tonight with Mark Masai.
And I'm also joined by David Agondo, our sign language interpreter. Top on our focus, the BBI. The Building Bridges Initiative, will now move to a referendum after the Senate overwhelmingly voted in its favor. 51 senators voted to endorse the bill, while 12 voted against, while one senator abstained. However, its passage was not without its fair share of drama, as senior political affairs reporter Kennedy Muredi found out.
Okay.
From the start, senators were aligned. They had formulated a voting pattern that suits their political inclination.
On behalf of the people of Siaya, and knowing that the philosophy of this bill comes from the handshake, and it took two great statesmen, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, I vote yes.
After receiving 29 constituencies and extra 15 billion shillings, Mr. Speaker, I vote yes.
Kwa heshima ya Rais wetu Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, Musyoka, mtu wetu, Weta, vote. Musalia Mudavadi, vote. I vote yes.
On behalf of women of Kenya and the leadership that this document has shown, I vote a big yes.
Allies of Deputy President William Ruto stood their ground and vehemently voted against the bill.
With a bulging debt, an economy on its knees, bread now being taxed, baby formula being taxed, I vote no to this excessive and unaffordable BBI and deception.
On behalf of the people of Murang'a, who got one constituency, the people of Nyeri, Nyandarua, Tharaka, who got 0 constituency, fearful of the taxes that we raise to support an enlarged parliament. And cause losses to Murang'a businesses. And urging the government to expect...
Senator, order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, be fair to me. Be fair to me.
Senator Kangata, take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, probably the next time we come to vote, we may need an alcohol blow at the entrance.
In the first vote to determine whether the bill will move to the committee stage, 52 senators voted to approve, while 12 voted to reject. Nominated Senator Mary Seneta chose to abstain.
I'm not under hostage.
Before the committee stage, Speaker Kenneth Lusaka gave a communication that shut all doors for any amendment to the bill, essentially locking out 4 senators that had lined up amendments.
While Parliament, pursuant to Article 94(3) of the Constitution, represents the will of the people and exercises their sovereignty, the extent of Parliament's powers is not unlimited.
At the committee stage, 51 senators voted to approve the bill without amendments. 11 voted against. At the third reading, 51 senators endorsed the bill, 12 rejected, while Mary Seneta once again abstained. Kennedy Muredi, NTV.
So what next? With the Senate joining the National Assembly in passing the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020, it now moves to State House. On receiving certification from the Speakers of Parliament, President Kenyatta shall request the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to conduct a referendum within 90 days. But how did we get here? Let's look back in history. It all started with the handshake, which was on 9th March 2018 between President Uhuru Kenyatta and the former Premier Raila Odinga following a contested presidential election in 2017. The political duo then formed a task force to get to the root of the violence that manifests every electoral cycle. This resulted in the first BBI report, and this was on 27th November 2019. And then came the work of evolving its recommendations into an actionable instrument by way of the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill, a step in the process that again led to the Bomas of Kenya. Now, moving forward after the BBI launch in October 26, 2020, there was the signature collection, which started on November 25th of 2020. And this is just the process to realizing this. Now, to fast forward, within a month of the counties being seized with this particular process, the IBC verifying the signatures on January 26th of 2021. The Super Tuesday, they called it, on February 23rd, 2021. It then moved to the National Assembly not too long ago. This was on the 6th of May 2021. And again, just today, what we've witnessed, Senate voting on this particular bill and passing it forward. It'll head to the president to follow through with this and then hand it over to the IEBC for the next stage ahead of the referendum. Something else that played out in Senate today, Isaac MWAURA on Tuesday lost his seat in the Senate after the Speaker, Ken Lusaka, declared it vacant in a Gazette notice. Now, this is despite a High Court order ordering a stay on the same. The legality of the Speaker's actions have been called into question based on this. Olive Burrows reports on the Jubilee Party disciplinary action carried out to the letter.
To ensure that the people of Ruiru have enough representation and enough resources to the county of Kiambu, I vote yes.
Minutes marked the difference between Isaac MWAURA being a bona fide member of the Senate and being able to vote on the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 and having his seat declared vacant. A Gazette notice dated Monday reading, "The seat held by Honorable Isaac MWAURA Maigwa became vacant with effect from the 7th of May 2021, raising questions as to why the Speaker who declared MWAURA's seat vacant would then permit him to vote on the second reading of the BBI bill. But Speaker Ken Lusaka defended the validity of the vote in this communication from the chair. For clarity, Article 124(3) provides the proceedings of either house are not invalid just because of the presence or participation of any person not entitled to be present at or to participate in the proceedings of the house. But that wasn't the only legal challenge raised. MWAURA had secured court orders staying his removal from the Jubilee Party.
An explanation as to why a valid court order has been disregarded by the political party, by IBC, by Senate. If we allow your communication to stand, Mr. Speaker, sir, we shall be sending a very dangerous precedent in this House, Mr. Speaker, sir.
This is the first time in the history of Kenya when a member of the House has lost office through this process. This is the only area where I concur with courts injuncting Parliament.
At the time I sat here, I had not seen any court order.
MWAURA was top of the list of 6 senators expelled by the Jubilee Party for disciplinary violations. The other 5, however, successfully challenged their expulsion before the political party's disputes tribunal on grounds that they were not accorded a fair hearing. MWAURA's challenge, on the other hand, which he filed separately, was not successful, prompting the registrar of political parties to comply with the Jubilee Party's instructions to expunge him.
Pleading here with you, I think is lamentation. Not even the President of the Republic of Kenya can do that, by the way. Once he gazettes something under an instrument of the law, it is over.
Neither the government printer, nor the Speaker of this House, nor any person other than the High Court can expunge that Gazette notice.
As to whether the Senate will be bound by any court orders that offer MWAURA reprieve is another matter entirely.
So we can debate here, Mr. Speaker, for the next 1 hour and say a lot of things with very colorful language, quote the law, quote Shakespeare, quote Greeks, quote everybody. But, Mr. Speaker, eventually, it is a matter of application of the law. We need finally to agree as a House. Do court orders matter or not?
Olive Burrows, NTV.
And this is definitely up for discussion on whether the High Court ruling on the very same issue that sought to stay the motion on his suspension, that is of the nominated Senator MWAURA. And partly reading, this is a judgment by Justice Joseph Sergon from the High Court, where in part it says, pending the inter partes hearing and determination of the aforementioned motion, the respondents are hereby restrained by an order of injunction from implementing or further acting on the judgment of the political parties tribunal dated 7th May 2021. And it further says that pending the inter partes hearing of the motion dated 11th May 2021, an order for stay of further implementation of the Gazette notice dated and issued on the 10th of May be by the third respondent. Basically, what has happened today is despite this court order in place, and we shall see how this develops tomorrow and in how they will pursue this particular case. To diplomatic spats right now, and Kenya has suspended flights from Somalia in a move that diplomacy and security analysts believe may have been a retaliation to an order by Mogadishu in the last few days that affected flights from Nairobi. The Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, in a notice to airmen, indicated that flights departing for or arriving from Somalia will not be allowed for 3 months. Layla Mohammed digs deeper into this latest issue between the two neighbors and tries to make sense of it all.
A NOTAM report created at 9 p.m. 10th May 2021 has given instructions to airmen that all flights to and from Somalia should be suspended until midnight of the 9th of August 2021.
This suspension comes on the heels of what Nairobi perceives to be hostile aviation policy that has seen in the last 2 days Somalia turning away 2 Kenyan flights.
The only flights that will now be considered over the 3-month suspension window are Medevac and United Nations flights under humanitarian missions.
The Civil Aviation Authority of Somalia banned the bringing of Miraa from Meru County to Mogadishu. When you restore diplomatic relations, you restore it in total. You don't say, I restore diplomatic relations with you, but don't bring me your bananas.
Somalia's Civil Aviation Minister Duran Farah has today said the move by Kenya to now ban flights to and from Mogadishu is shocking and would worsen the recently restored relations. The seeming diplomatic breakthrough he is referring to was brokered last week by Qatari Special Envoy Mutlaq bin Majid Al-Qahtani, leading to restoration of ties with Kenya. Somalia announced soon after that it was reopening its diplomatic channels with Kenya, but with the latest developments, the diplomatic stay is proving to be short-lived.
The reason why it's critically important, of course, for Kenya to have good relations with Somalia also is because of security. You know, Al-Shabaab is a current and a continuing threat, not just to Somalia, but to Kenya and the Horn of Africa. And it's critically important that both countries are able to talk. You know, outside that, it's going to be difficult to deal with Somalia.
The relationship between the two neighbors has been deteriorating over time, with Somalia insisting that Kenya is disrespecting its sovereignty by constantly interfering with its internal affairs.
I think Kenya should not overreact. I think Kenya should play the more mature partner in this relationship and say, we're going to try and keep talking to them until we solve these problems. I think probably the Prime Minister of Somalia should come to Nairobi and we get a new face to talk to so that we can restore a lot of these issues.
The decision by Mogadishu to give with one hand and take away with the other seems to worry many in the diplomatic world. While the latest decision by Kenya comes at a vulnerable point in the relationship between Kenya and Somalia, Nairobi has remained mum on the issues behind that decision, and all indications are they may just choose to remain quiet completely. Perhaps President Uhuru Kenyatta and his Somalia counterpart Mohamed Abdullahi will get to smooth things over at the Uganda presidential swearing-in ceremony tomorrow, as they are both expected to be in Kampala. Layla Mohammed, NTV.
On the crime beat now, development from the courts. The Nairobi court has convicted 2 police officers of manslaughter in a case in which they were charged with the murder of a woman in Nairobi's City Park in 2018. Nuru Abdulaziz has the details.
May 20th, 2018, 15 bullets were fired into a vehicle that Janet Waiyaki and Bernard Shege were in at City Park, Nairobi. Two police constables, William Chirchir from Makadara Police Station and Godfrey Kirui, were accused of firing the bullets that led to the death of 41-year-old Waiyaki. They were later on charged with her murder. Today, the High Court has ruled that the two are guilty of manslaughter. Justice Stella Mutuku, who presided over the case, said the force used by the officers was not proportional to the objective achieved.
The two accused persons opened fire. They told the court that they shot in the air first, but the vehicle continued driving away. They started shooting at the tires with the aim of deflating them to stop the vehicle.
Justice Mutuku said at the time the officers had not identified the occupants and that they could have used other means to have the vehicle intercepted. Here, she says, the officers contravened the law that requires them to protect life.
Bernard and the deceased did not resist the attempt by the police to arrest them. In fact, they were fleeing from the police. My conclusion on this issue is simple. The accused persons acted recklessly and shot at the vehicle without consideration that their actions might result in injuring or killing an innocent occupant.
She, however, said the intention was not to kill the deceased, as the officers were carrying out an operation to flush out terrorists in the area. The two will be sentenced at a later date. Nuru Abdulaziz, NTV.
And here's to some changes in the police service. At least 10 senior officers have been moved and changes announced by the police headquarters in Nairobi. In these new changes, police spokesman Charles Owino has been moved to the Kenya National Focal Point on Small Arms and Light Weapons, KNFP, in the capacity of Deputy Director. Paul Ndambuki becomes the new Coast Regional Commander, replacing Gabriel Musau, who has been recalled to the headquarters. Musau will now serve as the Director for Inspection. Ndambuki was moved from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations Academy in South Sea. Siaya County Police Commander Francis Okoli has been moved to Kisii in the same capacity, and he replaces Patrick Masharia, who was moved to Nakuru. Michael Mushiri has been named the new Siaya County Commander. With that change of command, we'll take a break and have a bit of a change of focus when we come back.
I see innovation and entrepreneurship thriving. I see young Kenyans remaking the world around them, creating lasting solutions to tomorrow's problems today. And I see women just like me at the heart of this revolution. And while others might see symbols and numbers, these girls see the language of the future. My name is Dorcas Owino, and I am a co-director at LECAB.
Whoever you choose as a partner along the way, no matter how, listen to your heart. Whose decisions are more important than yours? Never alone on this journey of yours. With you, each step of the way. All the way. Pay as you learn. Pay as you dine. Pay as you see the world. Pay your own way. The way ahead. Union Pay. Your way.
This looks different.
It is. See for yourself.
Okay, so it's a photo.
Look closer. Photos within photos.
What about video?
8K video. Beyond cinema quality.
So...
you can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
You broke up with Joey?
It was just a break.
It nearly happened.
Demila Richard has been cheating on me.
Mimi siwezi kuvunja moyo wa Joy nikijua.
Kwani break ni muda gani?
Break ni wiki mbili.
I cannot have Joey leave Richard.
She met up with someone I have never seen before.
Maybe it's a friend from the past.
Well, that hug doesn't look platonic, does it?
Wajuaje Joey anafanya nini huko nje na nafasi yake?
Hatuonani kwa wiki mbili, nitajuaje kama Joey ni wa kwangu ama sio kwangu?
To our brand new gated community project, Happy Gardens in Kitengela. Pay 800K on any of our projects and get 20K cashback PAP. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Welcome back. The Nairobi Metropolitan Services, NMS, and City Hall are on the spot once again for the chaotic manner in which they enforce payment of parking fees. In the latest incident, one man was injured and several vehicles damaged as officers attempted to tow away a car whose owner allegedly hadn't paid for parking.
The aftermath of the mid-morning incident that caused traffic along Nairobi's Kimathi Street. The damaged vehicle that was being used to tow the personal car signified the anger of a group of youth who descended on it to save the car. According to eyewitnesses, as the county officers violently towed the car, it swung several times as it hit and destroyed 4 more vehicles parked along the street. It is said one of the parking boys who had rushed to inform them that the car had been paid for got hit and injured as the officers ignored his pleas. He was rescued and rushed to hospital. This infuriated a group of youth who hurled stones at the speeding tow truck, forcing the driver to stop. The county driver tried to escape, but he was cornered and beaten up before the police came into his rescue.
Imevuta hiyo gari ya wenyewe unlawfully. At the same time, I thought the easiest thing to do was maybe to clamp the car if there are queries on whether the parking has been paid.
The personal car bore the brunt of violent towing.
Immediately I parked the car, I paid the parking fee. This can be verified via the message.
A section of City Hall askaris have been colluding with cartels running the old towing vehicles to target vehicles in the city. The officers then share the proceeds of towing the vehicles with the owners of the old vehicles, which is much higher than the fees charged for unclamping a car.
Gari inavuta haina insurance. We've checked kwa NTSA app. It is not even inspected. The last time it was inspected is in 2019. It may expire. Why should a car enye haina insurance inavuta gari enye fully insured, comprehensive? That is not right.
At the end, the police officers took charge of the situation, even as the baggage of paying for the damage caused lay squarely on the county officers. Those whose cars were hit were asked to report at the police station to facilitate their compensation. Vincent Oduor, NTV.
NMS should definitely clear that mess. Let's turn to something we can celebrate. Miriam Jepleting is no ordinary girl. At the age of 15, she lost a leg to cancer and lost the ability to walk unaided. But this did not in any way dim her dreams. On Monday, as the CS of Education released the KCSE 2020 results, her name was read not only among the top performers, but also the top student in the special needs category. Gabriel Kudaka visited her village in Trans Nzoia County and tells us her story.
Miriam Jepleting's home in Kipkeke village came alive last evening when residents received news of her splendid performance in the just released KCSE exams.
The CS is starting to read the results and stima imepotea, so we really frustrated. Kapo hivyo najaribu kustream kwa simu ya mom inakata, and then we heard my name. My mom was so happy.
Not even the heavy rains could cut short their celebrations. The 18-year-old says the results did not come as a surprise owing to her hard work and good preparation.
My teachers and all, really working hard, and it's favor from God.
The fourth born in a family of 5, she was diagnosed with cancer in 2014 that resulted in amputation of her leg a year later. Her friends came in handy at school to help her cope with the new challenge.
I wasn't quite independent by myself to do stuff like washing, but I'm going there. I'm really glad because I met people who are really willing to help me. I had a friend who would help me wash and all.
Her fight with cancer has inspired her career choice.
I am a survivor of cancer, so I'd love to help other kids out there and really create awareness on treating cancer to the people out there.
Her journey was not without challenges.
After the amputation, I stayed home for a while. Then I went back to school without a prosthesis first, and then after that I got a prosthesis thanks to a PDK.
After beating cancer in 2015, Miriam has once again proved that she is a conqueror. And as it continues raining here in Cherangani, Miriam hopes that the blessings will continue showering her path towards her career dream. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Well done, Miriam. And you share the victory with your counterpart, 18-year-old Dorcas Jelagat Kabirech, who is among the top KCSE students who, despite the challenges she and her family went through because of insecurity, managed to excel. Living in Mochongoi Ward, Baringo County, an area that is prone to bandit attacks, Jelagat hadn't expected to score an A. NTV spoke with her, and here's her story.
The lush green vegetation offers a breathtaking view. But deep within the hills of Baringo South are scars left by the frequent bandit attacks that have disrupted the lives and livelihoods of the locals. Even with such disruptions, hope is rising after Dorcas Chelagat from Lamaiwet village in Mochongoi Ward, Baringo South, scored an A of 82 points in the recently released KCSE results. The family was forced to flee their home several times in fear of their lives due to cases of insecurity.
Being displaced from one place to another, you need to change schools and meet new people. So that was quite a challenge.
Making a proper decision, because if I stayed there, I would have only lose the animals and lose even education. So I decided that let me leave the animals and then look for education.
Chelagat scored 391 marks in her KCPE exams after transferring to more than 4 schools and was able to join the Moi Girls High School Eldoret, where she sat her KCSE exams.
If she has performed this much from those kind of hardships, given the right environment, a lot of other young girls of her age would actually have had the opportunity to pursue their studies and realize their dreams. But unfortunately, because of the endless insecurity, many, they will not realize their dreams.
Chelagat is calling on the government to beef up security in the area so that the students can focus on their studies and build better lives for themselves.
These people, when they relocate from one place to another, some they leave their parents, others, their parents die, and they face quite a lot of challenges. So I like the government to ensure that there is security in that region, because this insecurity makes even others to just leave school.
Chelagat would like to pursue medicine at the University of Nairobi. Ruth Sarmoi, NTV.
Well, Dorcas and Miriam, thank you for sharing your story with my colleagues and with the entire nation, and showing us that there are challenges or things that we deem as challenges that are really not challenges, seeing what you've been able to surmount. All the best, sincerely, as you push forward. The COVID-19 situation is still developing in the country, and your guard should still be up to protect you and the people around you. From a sample of 4,424 people, there are 356 who were found positive, raising the caseload to 163,976. There have been 21 more fatalities to the virus, raising the death toll to over 2,900. Unfortunately, we are announcing more, fortunately, that's what I mean to say, we are announcing more recoveries, which is 129 to be precise, making the total 113,000 at least. Quick recovery to the 1,105 patients who are receiving treatment in hospital, the 4,749 on home-based care, some who could be watching this right now, and the 128 who are in intensive care. It does help to read these numbers because they're not just numbers, these are lives. And if you're watching and you feel like it's not going to end, hey, I went through it, you'll go through it, and we wish quick recovery to everyone. And please be safe wherever you are to protect yourself and others around you. Take a break at 29 minutes past the hour. I handle business after.
Introducing Nestle Ceregrow Growing Up Cereal. Each bowl of Nestle Ceregrow contains the goodness of cereals and nutrition your child needs to blossom. That's one less thing to worry about. Nestle Ceregrow. It's all good, Mom.
The Policyholders Compensation Fund, PCF, would like to notify Concord Insurance Company Limited policyholders and beneficiaries that the payment period to lodge their claims has been extended for an additional 30 days. The new deadline is now 14th May 2021. All claimants of Concord Insurance Company Limited are required to download the claims form from PCF website www.pcf.go.ke, IRA website www.ira.go.ke, or pick the form from PCF offices, second floor, ZEP Replace, Longonot Road. Fill the form in duplicate and attach copies of the required documents. Submit to PCF for verification, approval, and processing of payment. All payments will be made in line with the fund's guidelines and procedures. PCF, the fund you can trust.
Ah, Helen Paul.
Hello, madam. Would you like to join us on this mission?
Yes, but how?
Just one question for you. How do you keep your toilet clean?
I use regular detergent and bleach for washing and removing yellow stains. I've been using it for years.
Oh, madam, the regular detergents and bleach are used for washing clothes. To disinfect your toilet properly, you need Harpic 10X. It is specially made for germs and stains removal. Harpic's thick formula settles on stains and gives 10 times better cleaning compared to regular detergents and bleach.
Wow, now I'm convinced, Helen Paul.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that she's part of the mission, the next house is yours.
You do your best out there. Let us do our best in here with the disinfecting power of Jik. Because Jik cleans and kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs in your home. Jik, your family's guardian against germs.
Let's do business. Construction of the first phase of the Nakuru Airport is underway, with the 3 billion shilling project expected to be complete by August 2022. The airport seeks to tap into the agricultural and tourism opportunities in the Central Rift Valley, as Bridget Singana reports.
After a nearly 2-decade wait, investors in Nakuru, Laikipia, Nyandarua, Narok and Baringo have their sights set on the completion of the Nakuru Airport, which will open up the agricultural and tourism potential of the Central Rift counties.
The people of Nakuru have great hopes, have great expectations on this airport. If you're in the tourism sector, once the government has set the infrastructure, how do you plan to take advantage of this through conferencing, through meetings? How do you align yourself? If you are selling vegetables locally and away, this airport can mean a lot.
Works on Phase 1 at the 81st Battalion airstrip upgrade are currently 5% complete, with the contractor eager to finish this phase of the project on schedule at a cost of more than 400 million shillings.
We may do big highways, big airports, but they will only make sense to the extent that the local community appreciates understands and can be able to make economic capital out of that. And in so doing, some people will get employment, others are going to get money and indirect subcontracts and so on.
Nakuru is the hub for export horticulture in the country, and the airport will cut on the time spent transporting the flowers to Nairobi.
Among many other things that we should be doing is also to engage the community on aligning them to the bigger goals that are ahead of us, and in particular, how we can ensure that the money we put as national government and county governments, there is a return on investment from that money. And that can only come through cooperation, especially with the private sector.
The airport will be a dual military-civilian facility. This development aligning with Nakuru's city status ambition, which is currently underway. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge says the ideal scenario is for all financial services to go green. The statement comes in the wake of the dangers posed by climate change the world over, with policymakers in different sectors grappling with the need to introduce green-inducing policies. He was speaking during the formal opening of the virtual two-day European Union Kenya Green Diplomacy Conference.
A lot more needs to be done to green Kenya's financial system. Accordingly, in this year of climate action, in the lead up to COP26, we will work with the banking sector to develop guidelines on climate risk assessment and embedding climate-related financial reporting disclosures in the financial sector. Green finance presents significant opportunities to banks and other financiers. However, as regulators, we must always be alive to climate risks. In a nutshell, we aspire for a world where all financial services are green.
Kenya has also attracted an estimated USD 4.6 billion for green projects and programs in various sectors, with the green energy sector accounting for 40% of flows and related projects. Several green financing windows remain open to Kenya, such as the Green Climate Fund, the Global Environmental Facility, and Adaptation Fund.
Kenya Power is working on an arrangement to allow payment to community-based organizations in informal settlements as an incentive to have them help the cash-strapped sole electricity distributor recover an estimated 2 billion shillings worth of commercial losses. Kenya Power is partnering with community-based organizations in Nairobi's Mathare, Mukuru and Kibra in a bid to trim the total system losses reported at 24.7% in the period ended June 2020. The community-based organizations will report issues to the electricity distributors' teams. Kenya Power has disclosed neither the nature of the incentive offered to the organizations nor the proportion of the recovered income, which will be dedicated to meeting the costs of the incentive. Shareholders of Kenya Reinsurance Corporation, Kenya Re, will have to wait longer for the results for the period ended December 2020. This follows a change in the corporation's actuarial valuation methodology with respect to unearned premiums and claims reserves in line with recommendations from the Insurance Regulatory Authority. In the 6 months ended June 2020, Kenya Re reported 1.6 billion shillings in net earnings, with the short-term business accounting for the lion's share at 1.2 billion shillings. Kenya Re's share closed Tuesday's trade at 2 shillings and 38 cents, down from 2 shillings and 42 cents during Monday's trade. The corporation has sought approval from the Capital Markets Authority for the delay in release of earnings. And that's it from the business desk.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex.
Protex. Good health starts here.
Raisi na 404444. Buy your raffle now through paybill number 404444. Account name Omoka. Omoka Raisi Kenya Limited Free Hygiene for School Fundraising Lottery is giving you a chance to help the needy schools with hygiene resources and food during these COVID-19 times. Bet responsibly.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
The first step in building a great career is finding an excellent institution. Looking for a credible college to pursue your career in ICT, business and engineering? Look no further. IAT consistently delivers quality training to our clients. Enroll for our NEC, TVET, CDAC, NCC and ABE programs at any of our campuses. All our programs are accredited by TVETA and NITA. May intake ongoing.
In a world of fake news, Kenyans need the truth. When Kenya's foreign debt goes through the roof, when our athletes cover our nation with glory on the global stage, when they steal from Kenyans in a pandemic, when Kenyans cannot breathe due to the high cost of living. You deserve the truth. The Daily Nation brings you the truth. We are bold for you, full of courage for you. We are resilient for you, telling Kenya's stories without fear or favor because you deserve the truth. Daily Nation, the truth.
Thank you for staying with NTV Tonight. 9 Syrian nationals who have been stuck at the port of Mombasa for 1 year and 9 months now are set to return home. This comes after a successful auction of their vessel as directed by a court in Mombasa. The seamen had demanded $300,000 or an equivalent of 30 million shillings. They are, however, yet to receive the money before departing for Syria. Kevin Mutai also reports that their immigration status cannot allow them to stay on Kenyan soil and therefore they will have to leave the ship and head straight to the airport.
In January 2021, NTV visited 9 Syrian seafarers who had been stranded at the port of Mombasa inside their cargo vessel anchored in the middle of the channel. They were abandoned here in September 2019 by the owner of the vessel who vanished soon after they docked at the port. But now it's a sigh of relief as they are expected to go back home in a few days' time.
We want them to leave by latest 14th. Yeah, so because they've been here for so long. They've been here for so long, they've not been with their families and etc.
They went to court in 2020 seeking orders to sell the ship and use the money to settle their salary arrears, other allowances that had accumulated as well as cater for their travel expenses. The court, through their lawyer, issued a ruling in their favor and now the ship has been sold. They had demanded for 30 million shillings.
Only abandon, no give salary, no give anything.
What follows now is that they are expected to undergo COVID-19 testing among other medical examinations, as well as secure immigration documents before disembarking from the ship. Once they leave the country, the new owner of the ship, christened MV Jinan, will have to register the vessel afresh with Kenyan authorities before proceeding with shipping business.
The last we heard from the previous owner was he had offered to settle the amount at slightly less than the court amount. And because of the duration of time, we had advised the previous owner that we would be willing to consider that, but vanished.
He's have 3 children, he's waiting for marriage. Everybody have problem.
What remains now is for the cash to be transferred from the court to their lawyer.
their immigration status will not allow them to spend a single night on the Kenyan soil, as they will have to abandon ship straight to the airport and fly back to their families in Syria. Kevin Mutai, NTV in Mombasa.
Yeah, I thought being home for over a month due to COVID was a big deal. Imagine what they have had to go through. Some were actually meant to have gotten into matrimonial bliss, but they've been stuck up. And I'm sure Kevin Mutai will be following up as they head to the airport when that happens. Impeached Wajir Governor Mohammed Abdi has filed all required documents with the Senate Special Committee in response to his ouster ahead of the first day of trial tomorrow. The Special Committee investigating the impeachment had given both the governor and the county assembly until close of business Tuesday to file their papers. The Wajir MCAs will lay their case on Wednesday before the governor takes the stand to defend himself on Thursday. Committee Chairman Okongo Mogeni said the panel will then retreat on Friday to consider the submissions and file a report. They plan to table the report on the 17th of May. MCAs impeached Governor Abdi 2 weeks ago for alleged gross misconduct, gross violation of Constitution, and abuse of office. Before we turn to the sports, let's get a bit more of the celebrations after the KCSE results yesterday. The number of candidates who performed well in the 2020 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination was higher compared to the previous year, despite a tough learning environment due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Candidates who did well have been praised for overcoming the challenges as jubilation continues to reign following the release of the results yesterday. Here are some of the highlights from different parts of the country.
Celebrations engulfed Kilifi Township Secondary School after 3 of its students scored an A- in the 2020 KCSE results released on Monday. The school's principal, Charo Katana, saying the school had raised its mean score from 5.4 in 2019 to 6.13.
Corona ilitutatiza mula ule wa mwisho wa mwaka, tukawa na kidato cha 4 peke yao. Na walikubali mtihani kila siku. Na wakatufurahisha, wakatutia moyo, na hiyo ndio ikawa ni mkakati mpaka tamati.
In Busia County, the excitement was contagious as Kenneth Oranga of Kapsabet Boys emerged the 7th nationally in the KCSE. It was a joy for the small Amoni village in Teso North constituency.
Sikutarajia hadi mimi nimestuka, nilishindwa hata kuongea tu baba, nilishindwa kuongea. Sikuwa natarajia nitakuwa nambari 7.
Joseph Joachim Gishero from Garissa County, who was among the top 100 students at Alliance High School, said he is happy about the accomplishment following his impressive performance.
It was really tough, I thought that I was losing a lot of content. You have this feeling of desperation, you need to go back to school, but you have a consolation that it is the whole country. So, but when you came back to school, you hit the road running, that you don't have enough time, so you just read hard so that, you can achieve your goal. Never give up.
The 17-year-old scored an A plane of 83 points and said that while he was not surprised by the good grades, he did not expect to be among the top in the country. In Kisii County, little-known secondary schools performed exceptionally well in the national exams, with some of the schools having all candidates score a university minimum entry grade of C+ and above. All the 268 candidates of Riokindo Boys High School in Kenyanya Sub-County managed to produce 17 A- and 99 candidates scoring a B+.
Our school was mentioned as one of those that have done the most improvement, and we have confirmed because we have already gotten results for 268 boys. All these boys are transiting to university. Our motto has always been 100% boys to where? University.
Zainab Ismail, NTV.
We will not tire to say congratulations, and for those who didn't do as well as they anticipated, do not give up. We've seen the encouragement from those who had not done very well in KCPE 4 years ago, but excelled in their KCSE 2020. So it's not all over. And we'll be following up on these special stories from the encouragement that we can glean from them. Sports news is up next.
bosses who changed the office entirely in order to create the most comfortable workspace. And to everyone who brings Bureau Time to them in over 50 countries. Bureau Time, asset for success.
About Molfix.
Actually, another brand was recommended to me, but it had a leakage problem. Then I decided to try Molfix. His clothes don't get wet anymore.
Because Molfix provides extra protection against leakage thanks to its anti-leakage elastic barriers. All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
WEKA COLLABO na Shell Shinda Fuso FI is back and bigger. WEKA COLLABO na Shell Fuels plus Shell Lubricants, Africa's Oshopata convenience shop. To enter the draw, dial *384*200#, enter the code from your voucher and follow the prompts. Terms and conditions apply.
You broke up with Joey?
It was just a break.
What nearly happened? Jamila, Richard has been cheating on me.
Mimi siwezi kuvunja moyo wa Joey nikijua. When you break ni muda gani? Break ni weekend.
I cannot have Joey leave Richard.
She met up with someone I have never seen before.
Maybe it's a friend from the past.
Well, that hug doesn't look platonic, does it?
Wajuaje Joey anafanya nini huko nje? Anafisi yake.
Hatuonani kwa wiki mbili, nitajuaje kama Joey ni wa kwangu ama sio kwangu?
To our brand new Get It community project, Happy Gardens in Kitengela. Pay 800k on any of our projects and get 20k cashback, PAP. Call us now on 0790 300 300.
Let's hear from the sports desk. BetKing Premier League clubs today started testing their players and officials for COVID-19 in a bid to resume the season this week. Following the lift on the suspension of sports almost 2 weeks ago, Football Kenya Federation has officially confirmed that the BetKing Premier League will resume on the 14th of this month. And with coronavirus still lurking, it is now mandatory for clubs to get tested before meeting at the pitch.
Football Kenya Federation Premier League clubs across the country gathered at different venues to get their COVID-19 tests done ahead of the league resumption.
The resumption of sporting activities shall be guided by the regulations.
The president, during his Labor Day speech, lifted the suspension and footballers are itching to resume playing. Second-placed KCB took their COVID-19 test at their training grounds in Ruaraka. The Bankers will take on league leaders Tusker this weekend in what promises to be an exciting top-of-the-table clash.
Kulingana na game ya weekend, siwezi sema vitu mob. Juu tuko nao ligi moja, hatuwezi waogopa. Juu sisi tukianza league, goal yetu ilikuwa ni kubeba league. So tukitaka kubeba league lazima tufunge wale watu wako juu yetu. Na itakuwa ni Tusker, so tukiweza wafunga itakuwa ni better kwetu, ndipo tuweza kuja hapo juu.
On the other hand, 18-time league champions Gor Mahia took their COVID-19 test at the Ligindogo grounds, citing some relief with the resumption, especially regarding their training.
Training individually, it's not always fun, but when you have your friends around, it's always fun. I think the mood is great. And we were just hoping that the league could just start as soon as possible.
With the league halfway through, Gor Mahia are placed 7th on the log, having won 7 matches, losing 6 and drawing just 1.
Finally, we have a smile back on our faces. We've missed playing, as you know. So I think this is a big step for the return of the games, and we hope that we'll start playing as soon as possible.
Kakamega Homeboys, who play Kariobangi Sharks at Kasarani on the 14th, had their players also tested. With this being the second time that sports was suspended due to the ongoing pandemic, Kenya's football governing body says the league will resume under strict observance of the existing government and the Confederation of African Football COVID-19 protocols. The testing exercise is set to continue tomorrow. Lokader Natiom, NTV.
Kenyan boxers are confident of a good assignment during the Konstantin Korotkov Memorial International Boxing Championships in Russia. The international friendly tournament is the team's last competition before the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The team to compete at the Lenina Regional Sports Complex Stadium in the city of Khabarovsk includes Commonwealth Games flyweight bronze medalist Christine Ongare, national welterweight champion Elizabeth Akinyi, 2015 Africa Boxing Championships lightweight gold medalist Nick Okoth, and Africa Zone 3 super heavyweight gold medalist Eli Ajowi. Head coach Musa Benjamin says the tournament will go a long way in preparing the team for the Olympic Games. This comes as NOC received 45 million shillings from KBL through its brand Tusker to sponsor Team Kenya.
Nimejitayarisha vizuri. Kesho nacheza na mtu kutoka Dominican Republic. Last bout ya kesho. Nimejitayarisha vilivyo.
Kuna watu pia wamekaa na watu wamekaa hapa ni Olympian pia kama sisi, unaona. Sasa ndio na wengi wao wale tunaenda kukutana nao huko Tokyo. Sasa pia lazima tujitahidi.
Baada ya mwaka mzima tumekuwa na shindano moja kule Kongo. So hii itakuwa ya pili na nafikiri vijana watajituma kabisa na tutaweza pia kuona mambo ambayo tunafaa kurekebisha kabla ya mashindano. So mashindano haya ni muhimu sana kwetu.
All the best to them.